Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here with all the news from the Star Trek universe from the past few weeks. First off, the biggest recent news, of course, is the dropping of the new Star Trek Discovery trailer, our first look at what the actual show will look like. I have links to the trailer in the description below, as well as a link to my recent reaction video where I gave my brief thoughts upon first seeing the trailer. I am still hoping to do a detailed analysis of the trailer in the near future. However, until then, you might want to check out Trekyards' channel. They have gone really in-depth into looking at the various aspects of the trailer. Link to their channel is also in the description below. Another recent trailer that may be of interest to Star Trek fans is for a new show on Fox called The Orville. The Orville is created by Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy, American Dad, and the remake of Cosmos. The Orville is a parody of science fiction, and more specifically Star Trek. The trailer makes this one look like a lot of fun. I'll have a link in the description to the trailer where you can check it out. It does also have a few other Star Trek connections. There are some Star Trek personalities working behind the camera. Notably, Jonathan Frakes, Robert Duncan McNeil, and Brannon Braga are lending their talents to the show. TrekMovie.com recently posted an article in which McFarlane talks about the Orville. I don't know about you, but I certainly plan to be tuning in and catching this one, and hopefully, even though it's on Fox, it lasts more than one season. I'm thinking of you, Firefly. God, I miss Firefly. In other McFarlane news, this time the toy company instead of the television producer. High-quality toy company McFarlane Toys has become one of the first major merchandisers for the upcoming Star Trek Discovery series. This newly announced license is not just for Discovery, however. It will also include previous chapters of the Star Trek universe, including the Star Trek films. I'll have a link to the story on Trekcore.com where they include the text of the press announcement. The announcement that McFarlane Toys would be providing action figures, role-play items, and starships has made some people wonder if Diamond Select Toys still retains their Star Trek licensing agreement. Fans who enjoy Diamond Select's offerings can put their minds at ease, however, as it was recently reported on TrekMovie.com that Diamond Select is in fact expanding their Star Trek offerings. According to Diamond Select's Zach Oat, Diamond Select has expanded their license to include other aspects of the Star Trek universe, although specifics about what that meant exactly were not given. A number of previously announced items are still in the works, including a next-generation role-play phaser and the USS Reliant. Zach also announced that Diamond Select is developing another Star Trek ship to be announced soon. We'll of course have news on that as soon as it's known. Another fan-favorite Star Trek licensee, of course, is Eaglemoss, producers of the fabulously successful Star Trek Starships collection. Eaglemoss's Ben Robinson was recently asked on Twitter whether this McFarlane deal impacts their license for Star Trek Starships, and his answer was promising to say the least. It turns out that Eaglemoss has already produced 2 models for Star Trek Discovery. I really can't wait to get a look at those. I'm assuming probably the USS Shenzhou and the USS Discovery? Time will tell. Speaking of Eaglemoss, there has been, as usual, a steady stream of previews of upcoming starships in the collection. First off, a couple specials that are in the pipeline, the large-scale Enterprise E, which I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to have the starship in this scale. And Starbase K7 from The Trouble with Tribbles. This is only the second space station they've done, including Deep Space Nine. Other starships coming up in the collection that have been recently previewed include the Vidian starship from Star Trek Voyager, shown here unfortunately backwards. I'm really hoping they fix that, because although this ship looks like it should be facing that way, it should be facing the other way, and this pedantic Star Trek fan really wants that fixed. The USS Jenolan, which crash-landed on a Dyson sphere and held Scotty in transporter stasis for 75 years in the episode Relics. Captain Proton's rocket ship from the Captain Proton holodeck adventures in Voyager episodes Night and Bride of Chaotica. And finally, one that I'm really looking forward to, a special issue. This one is of Captain Riker's ship, the USS Titan. This ship, of course, was first mentioned in Star Trek Nemesis, and is not exactly canon because it was only shown in the novels. However, as most of you know, I am a huge fan of the novels. I host a Star Trek books and comics podcast, so you can imagine that I'm really looking forward to having this one on my shelf. And speaking of books, in the past week there was a new cover reveal, this one for Christopher L. Bennett's newest book in the Rise of the Federation series, Patterns of Interference. From the back cover blurb, "The time has come to act. Following the destructive consequences of the Ware crisis, Admiral Jonathan Archer and Section 31 agent Trip Tucker both attempt to change their institutions to prevent further such tragedies. Archer pushes for a Starfleet directive of non-interference, but he faces opposition from allies within the fleet and unwelcome support from adversaries who wish to drive the Federation into complete isolationism. Meanwhile, Tucker plays a dangerous game against the corrupt leaders of Section 31, hoping to bring down their conspiracy once and for all. But is he willing to jeopardize Archer's efforts, and perhaps the fate of an entire world, in order to win?" Patterns of Interference will be available for sale on or around August 29th. August 29th, of course, is not a hard sell date, so look for this book to possibly be available in bookstores before then. Well, as always, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any Star Trek news tips, be sure to tweet to me. I'm at Kertrats, that's Kertrats. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/KertratsProductions. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe for more Star Trek news and reviews, and I'll see you in the next video.